Okay, so before we get into the deep analysis, nuanced critique, and jokes about cum, let's put this review into perspective. Now, I'm not usually that into strategy games, simulation games, or medieval games without some good old dungeons or drag queens, but Crusader Kings 2 is my fucking jam. Which is weird to me, cause let's be real, it's a hard sell. Like, imagine one of your buds saying to you, hey, you should play this 8-year-old game that has 1 million DLCs and needs all of them to be good, and 90% of what you do is stare at a map and replace your counselors when they keep dying. Stop dying! But that's exactly what happened. I bought the game with all the DLCs, and to this day it's my most played game ever on Steam, clocking in at 260 hours, most of which was meant to be spent asleep, but hey, that's the sacrifice you make when you want to be a gamer. And now, after quite a few years of waiting, we finally have Crusader Kings 3. It's prettier, it's slicker, it's smoother, but it's still definitely got that wonderful Crusader Kings feel, which is basically just being disappointed in your fuck-up kids. Honestly, I'm genuinely really impressed by how complete this game feels on its own. I mean, considering its predecessor took like 6 years of improvements to get good, I was worried this one might feel pretty bare bones on release. But even though it's missing a few features from the last game, Crusader Kings 3 still feels like a real improvement on the formula, and it's all just as addicting, engaging, and rampantly incestual as it always is. Let's put that away now, please. But what actually is Crusader Kings? What do you actually do in this weird-ass game? Well, if you were to ask a fucking dork, they'd say it's a game about playing as a medieval ruler in Europe, Asia, or Africa, and building up your nation to be the best it can be. You can't really win in Crusader Kings, and the only way to lose is if your character doesn't have an heir to replace them when they die, so really it's more about ruling your place how you want to rule it. But if you were to ask a thick-brained wonder baby such as myself, I'd say it's a game about finding these marvelous little moments that entertain me to no end. Like when I started a witch's coven with my mum, or when my ruler went insane and got buck-ass naked and nobody cared. Nobody cared. There wasn't like a modifier for it or anything. No one cared. They were all just like, well, he's got the leaf on his dick, so it's all good, I guess. Really, it's these absurd and wonderful situations you find yourself in that make this game so interesting, and thankfully, it's got plenty of them. I mean, the actual gameplay is whatever you make of it, mostly just making these decisions as they're presented to you, but I'd say a lot of the fun comes from role-playing as different kinds of rulers. Maybe you want to be a jolly, family-centered drunk, or a sneaky, manipulative liar, or an amazing genius that your vassals rebel against because they want to replace you with a literal lunatic, you sexists! You have, like, partial control over how your kids will end up, so you can kind of make your character your own, but for me, one of the best parts of the game is putting yourself in your character's shoes and making choices you think they'd make. Plus, even though you really don't have to, it's still very satisfying to slowly but surely build up your land from a tiny county in bumfuck nowhere to a giant, powerful mega empire that could overthrow God himself! So yeah, that's basically what makes Crusader Kings fun. Hilarious situations, role-playing naked people, and making a religion about Jackie fucking Chan. But so far everything I've mentioned could apply to either Crusader Kings 3 or 2, or maybe the first one. I don't know, I never played that one. Did anyone play that one? Jesus Christ. So what's specifically new about Crusader Kings 3? Well, really, it's no one big thing that's different, it's more like a few little important details that make the game feel nicer to play. The new perk system, for example, is a great addition and really gives you more freedom in making your character your own. Like, there's even an entire branch dedicated to being a fuckboy. You also get to watch your character grow older in real time, which is dope and depressing. Dope-pressing, if you will. And there's a new stress mechanic that adds a whole new layer of depth, genuinely makes a lot of sense for this kind of game, and actually kind of punishes you for not role-playing, like a sadistic dungeon master. Really, it's just these little things that improve the experience in subtle yet noticeable ways, and really make this game special for me. But like I said, there are some cool things from the last game that aren't present here, like the ability to create your own ruler from scratch, join secret societies, or turn into a bear, which I feel like is a personal attack on me, so 2 out of 10, bad game, needs more bears. Nah, but really, I'm pretty sure this game is gonna get its fair share of add-ons just like the last one, and maybe it'll add that stuff in, but the point is, for a standalone game, Crusader Kings 3 is fucking phenomenal. I mean, personally, I always know a game is great when I have to literally tear myself away from it to make the review. after 45 hours of playtime, which should remove any doubt in your mind that I'm not a virgin. Basically, Crusader Kings 3 managed to keep that weird and addicting vibe from the last game, whilst adding some cool new stuff that did nothing but improve the experience, which is personally exactly what I was looking for. Whether you've played the last one or not, I'd highly recommend you pick this one up. I realize it's not for everyone, but I still think we should all feel the joy of a good old-fashioned leafy log. Hallelujah!